In this video, I'm going to show you how to joint a whole chicken. As well as it being a really good skill to master, it actually works out cheaper to do this yourself than buy pre-processed packaged cuts of meat. So a packet of chicken breast or a packet of chicken thighs or diced chicken. So it's much better if you could do this yourself. You'll notice in this video that I'm using a red chopping board. That's because I'm going to be working with raw meat. Using colour-coded chopping boards and other utensils is an excellent way of preventing cross-contamination in your kitchen. The first thing you must do before touching your raw chicken is to thoroughly wash your hands. Okay, make sure you're doing the backs of your hands in between your fingers, around your thumb and your wrists. Okay, you should be washing your hands for 20 seconds in warm water. The next thing is to do a visual check. Your chicken should be pink, firm, and there should be no obvious blood coming out of it. If you bought your chicken in a packet from a supermarket, make sure you check the use by date as well. The equipment you're going to need is a pair of scissors and a decent size cook's knife. I'm going to start by cutting off the elasticated string that is tying the legs together, and that can just go straight into the bin. So just discard that. Next, I'm going to separate the wings from the main body of the bird. So what you want to do is you want to spread it right out so you can see what you're doing. And what you want to do is you want to run your knife along this part to get as much of the wing as possible. So you might want to turn your bird around when you do this. So I'll just try and show you. So you want to cut away at the skin and expose the flesh underneath. This is the bit you want to be able to see. If you don't like the feel of handling a raw chicken, there's nothing wrong with using gloves. So you can either use disposable gloves and obviously throw them away as soon as you've finished with your chicken. Or there's nothing wrong, I guess, with wearing washing up gloves. We just have to make sure you either dispose of them or clean them really well afterwards. So you just want to cut away the skin so you can see what you're doing. Okay, so what you want to do is you want to be cutting in here. And if I just pull the wing away, you should be able to see the joint in here is where you want to be cutting. Okay. So there's your wing there. There's not a huge amount of meat on the wing tip. So if you wanted to get rid of that bit, you can do, just to neaten up your joint. So your best bet is actually feeling with your thumb and your finger where the joint is, and you can just cut straight through that with your knife. Like so. Okay, so there's one wing, and then I'll just do that again on the other side. Now we're going to do the legs. So we've got the drumstick and the thigh that we want to separate. Again, what you want to do is you want to get rid of and cut through this skin. So if you're struggling to do this with your knife, why not try it with a pair of kitchen scissors just to start off? So just cut through that skin and it will make your life a whole lot easier. And you can really see easily now what you're dealing with once you've got rid of that skin. Like so. Okay, so little tip, in terms of where to put your knife, you'll see if I pull the leg out from the body that you've got a line of fat running along here. That is where you should be cutting with your knife, okay? Just get rid of this bit of skin as well. Okay. I'm starting to cut. Now if I pull the leg away from the body, you can see what is essentially the hip joint pop out, okay? So now I can continue cutting along this part here. Turn that over. Cut away some more of that skin. So there you have your whole chicken leg, but I'm going to separate this now into two parts, the drumstick and the thigh. And again, like before, you've got a nice line of fat running down here to tell you where to put your knife. Right, so just follow that. If I start cutting through the flesh till I hit the bone, and if I just pull them apart, and you can see the joint, okay? So that's where I want to be putting my knife to cut the drumstick off. Okay, there's my drumstick and my thigh meat. Let's take the rest of that skin off. Don't need that. Okay, so I'm going to do that again on the other side. So now I've got my 2 wings, my 2 thighs and my 2 drumsticks. Now we want to take off the breast meat. Again, if you're finding that trying to cut through this, it's slipping all over the place because of the skin, okay, there's no reason why you can't just cut through that, unless you particularly want to keep the skin intact. There's no reason why you can't, for the sake of jointing a chicken, just cut through that skin so you can really see what you're working with. Right. There's a little, you can sort of see almost like a little channel going down the middle here. In the centre, you've got a bone. What you want to do is you want to expose that so you can see where you need to be working. So just very gently, just bit by bit, you just want to sort of just start to cut either side of that bone. You can start to see where the 2 breasts are exposed on the chicken. Okay, then you'll better feel with your fingers and your thumb where that bone goes and how to follow that bone with your knife. You want to keep your knife as close to the bone as you can to get as much meat as possible, and use your thumb to pull the meat away bit by bit so you can expose the rest of what you need to cut. So cut a little bit and then pull the flesh away so you can see where else you need to be putting your knife. Okay, so I'm just feeling all the time for the hard surface so I can feel where to be running my knife. Okay. Now see how much meat you've got there. If you bought a pre-packaged, say, set of 3 chicken breasts, they'd be much smaller than this. And you'd probably pay more than you would for a whole chicken. So it really is worth being able to joint a chicken yourself because you get so much more meat for your money. Okay, so there's one side. I'm going to do the other portion of breast meat now. So there it is, your completely jointed whole chicken. So you've got your 2 wings, your 2 thighs, 2 drumsticks, 2 pieces of breast meat and your carcass. Don't need to throw that away because that will make an amazing stock if you add it to a pot with some celery, carrots and onion. Alright, you don't need to just chuck that away. That can be for something else. In the next video, I'm going to show you how to make a delicious and super easy breaded chicken recipe. Don't forget to thoroughly wash your hands after you've been working with your raw chicken. Okay, so nice warm water, antibacterial soap, and you should be washing your hands for a good 20 seconds. Making sure that you're doing the heel of your hand, the palm, your fingers, your thumbs, the backs of your hands, in between your fingers, round your thumbs and your wrists. Once you've finished preparing your raw chicken products, make sure that you clean all work surfaces with hot soapy water and then spray with a disinfectant spray to sanitize the surfaces afterwards and give them a good wipe again.